Karen Devine tonight live at 5. Too many items stuffed into a water heater closet leads to a fire in Palm Desert. Now 7 people are finding a new place to stay. How this could have been prevented.
Plus a new public art piece in Desert Hot Springs vandalized almost as soon as it was finished.
And your vote 2014, voters in Desert Hot Springs say yes to taxing medical marijuana, but no to raising the sales tax. What this means for the city struggling to stay out of bankruptcy. It's 5 o'clock, time for news on the air and streaming live at KESQ.com.
You're watching KESQ, the Desert's news leader. This is News Channel 3, live at 5.
8 Riverside County cities tried to get voters to support tax hikes. Half of them were defeated, and one is still too close to call. Measure U in Coachella was a 1% sales tax to pay for police, fire, and other city services. It is behind by just 1 vote, but there are still 83,000 mail-in, damaged, and provision ballots that still need to be processed. One of the tax proposals that was defeated was in Desert Hot Springs. Voters said no to Measure JJ. It would have increased the sales tax from 8% to 9%, bringing in almost $1.5 million a year for the cash-strapped city. Now city leaders may be forced to make more budget cuts. News Channel 3's Laura Yanez is live in the newsroom with a look at what's next for the city struggling to pay its bills. Laura.
Karen, there's some disappointment in Desert Hot Springs tonight about the outcome of Measure JJ. Now, the city's potential of raking in more than $1 million in revenue got shot down by more than half of voters. While voters did approve some tax measures in Desert Hot Springs, they did not say yes to Measure JJ.
We were obviously disappointed with what happened with Measure JJ. On the other hand, the 2 other measures passed, so that'll help us a little bit.
Measure JJ would have increased the city's sales tax by 1%. If it had passed, it could have brought the city more than $1 million a year in revenue, money that the city's general fund desperately needs. Now, city leaders have to come up with new options, which usually means more budget cuts.
So this is going to be a painful situation.
Councilman Joe McKee says they've already cut $6 million this year to public safety, city programs, and employee salaries to avoid bankruptcy. So where will it trim from now?
There are all sorts of things we're going to have to look at. We fund a lot of organizations. We fund the senior center. We fund the hoteliers. We fund the Chamber of Commerce.
Stephanie Ross's husband owns Dr. Paul Ross Chiropractor on Pearson Boulevard. She says she's frustrated with the decision and the ramifications that come with it.
Now the city has to go back and cut people and cut jobs. What is 1%? This city deserves more than the people are giving it credit for.
McKee says the city will have to keep depending on volunteers to help continue some of its services, and deeper cuts to the budget are something it's prepared for.
I'd just like to ensure people in Desert Hot Springs that we will survive. It's not going to be pretty in a lot of ways, but we'll work through this.
About 44% of voters said yes to the measure. However, majority rules, 55% said no. Live here in the newsroom, I'm Laura Yanez, News Channel 3. Karen.
Well, a disappointment to some there. Thank you, Laura.
Meanwhile, the election showed that voters in Desert Hot Springs are much more willing to tax medical marijuana. Measure HH will tax marijuana growers on the size of the buildings where they grow it. It passed with 68% of the vote. Supporters say the money will help fund city services like street sweeping, parks, public safety, and youth and adult programs. Voters in Desert Hot Springs also passed Measure II, a 10% tax on marijuana sales in the city. It had 73% of the vote.
As for the highly competitive state Senate race, Riverside County Supervisor Jeff Stone is getting ready for a new job. Stone won 53% of the vote against former Republican Assemblywoman Bonnie Garcia, who got 47%. Stone leads by 8,026 votes. But again, there are more ballots that need to be counted, and there's been no concession from Garcia.